Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift. Today, we're in conversation with Dr. Mihir Parekh. He is a licensed rehabilitation psychologist. He's a special educator. He's an author. He is the director founder for Urja Remedial and Counseling Center. Good evening, Doctor. How are we today?
Oh, good evening, Deepshikha. I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm good. So, that book that you have right at the back, that is like a beautiful thing. That's going to be
Thank
your
you.
new book, which is going to be out in August. So tell us a little about why. Why did you write why? And what is it about?
Okay, so before we begin, first of all, namaste, everyone. Deepshikha, basically, this is my third book. And the name of the book is Why, because I believe this why is answering my daughter's why. In fact, she's around 9 to 10 years old, and she keeps on asking me a lot of questions.
Okay.
So in fact, I actually thought that, why not to answer these questions in a form of a book? So it will actually benefit so many parents like me, because the
Right.
questions are so many. Ideally, a child at this age would keep on asking their parents around 200 questions every day. and and especially in the time where uh, we are so advanced in terms of we do not believe in superstitions, but therefore but even then, if we see a black cat crossing the road, and if we stop anyone, so then there's an immediate question that, "Kyun humko roka? Why is black cat bad?" So these
Right.
are all answers to all these questions, because I believe, in today's generation, they will not blindly follow superstition. And
Absolutely.
I feel that's very nice. The reason being that they need answers to everything. And if these
Correct.
answers are given in a scientific way,
Yeah.
backed up with some good stories,
Right.
so then they
Right.
will immediately pick up those things nicely, and then they would like to follow it. That, oh, I think that this has some scientific significance, and now let me follow what my parents are saying.
Wow. This is amazing. I'm going to order that book immediately. I don't have little kids, but I'm sure this book is going to answer a whole lot of questions to the superstitions that we grew up with, just
Yes,
blindly following.
absolutely.
हमारे time में we used to not question so much. You're like हाँ बोल
Correct.
दिया तो बोल दिया.
And let me share this with you, that, while writing this book, I came across, I had actually had to do a lot of research work, because the book has stories, so the stories are connected with what the why is, and then
Right.
finally there is some conclusion or some tips after the chapter gets over. So in this
Okay.
process, I also learned a lot. Oh, I this is the reason aisa hota hai. This is the reason,
Right.
temple mein there is a bell, and that's why we ring the bell.
Wow. That is amazing.
So,
Do you
so
have a
I
one
would.
with Sorry, do you have one with where you cannot cut nails at night after sunset?
Yes, yes.
Great.
So there are
Okay, yeah.
around 29 chapters, very small, small chapters, because the book is basically for children.
Okay.
And with regards to age group, any child, who has good reading skills, or at least the comprehension skills, that gets better and better after the age of 5 6 years.
Okay.
So kids would love reading that, why do you draw a rangoli outside the house? Why is it not allowed to cut nails in the evening? घर पे शाम को झाड़ू क्यों नहीं मारते हैं? All
Okay.
those things which our parents used to tell us, and we blindly followed. So
Amazing.
my so apart from this, there was this young boy who was actually going for his exams, and his dadi said that, आप दही चीनी खाकर जाओ.
Hmm.
And this boy said, why? And dadi said, क्योंकि वो शुभ माना जाता है. Now he
Right.
is today's generation. He would not follow all this, and he said, चलो ये
Right.
बकवास है, मैं जा रहा हूँ. So then the mother immediately called me, because his brother comes to me, and then I
Okay.
said, चलो उसको ऐसे बोल दो that this dahi is going to give him freshness. It's good for his gut. It's
Okay.
going to be filling, and the sugar is going to give him energy. When he
Okay.
got this answer, he was convinced and he ate and he left.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so that is amazing because if you have a why for everything, I think that makes it more scientific. And I think all the so-called superstitions have actually a why, but they're just
Yes.
embedded in a culture by way of, in religions or in way of fasting and everything, but each one has a scientific thing which I think a lot of us didn't bother to question or ask. Anyway, so this book is going to be out on what date in August?
Okay, so in fact, I planned to release it on Friendships Day, which is the 1st August,
Wow.
and it's a Sunday. So I
Okay.
want to be friends with all the children because I believe मेरी सबसे ज़्यादा audience है my children, because I
Wow.
come and I tell them stories. So even if they visit my center or if they are, I have my children from Bhutan and many other countries outside India. So they call me and then they say, Uncle, अभी आप स्टोरीज बोलने क्यों नहीं आते हो एंड आई फील
Oh,
दीपशिका ट्रस्ट मी इट गिव्स मी अ सेटिस्फैक्शन दैट भले वो मेरा एक बच्चा स्टोरी सुन रहा है बट आई हैव मेड अ डिफरेंस so
wow.
so this is the reason I plan to come up on not on Children's Day because that would be too late. In fact, I was
Yeah.
planning to release it last November, but because
Okay.
of this current situation, we couldn't. So I think 1st August is something. It's a date in my mind.
Amazing. And it's going to be available on what all platforms? Amazon?
Yeah, so even the earlier books are, I mean, the other two books are available on Amazon, and so would this be. And the publisher is Notion Press.
Okay.
So it will be available on the Notion Press platform, also on Flipkart. So it can
Perfect.
easily be available to all, I mean, across India and even across the globe.
Amazing. So once it's out, why don't you give me the links and we'll put it right after after this video is uploaded, so then people will find it easier to find it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All the very best. Now,
Thank you so much.
tell us about the earlier book that you were talking about, Life Tweets. You have two
Okay,
volumes
so
for that.
so I'll show you the book. I'll show you the book. The book looks like this. The red one is the first one, and
Okay.
the black and white is the second one.
Uh-huh.
So the first book actually got released 2 years back,
Okay.
and I really got a very good response for this book. Now, if you see the size of the book, it's very thin. So
Okay.
one of the reasons would be this. And the chapters are very short. The chapter talks about all the parental problems that they face on day-to-day basis. And there are the quick and handy tips that the parents can immediately follow in case if the child is showing any kind of problem. So
Okay.
this is one, and I was very keen to write. In fact, this is my favorite book. The reason being because this book has all the counseling experiences, the good counseling experiences that I have had up till now. And
Wow.
every lesson in this book, passes some or the other lesson to a parent in terms of, why we should not give, before 18 years, why children should not be allowed to ride any vehicle. So there are sad stories, good stories. There are awareness about using a sanitary napkin and why, awareness is important across, I mean, be it any gender, male or female,
Right.
and many more. For a teacher, for a parent, it is basically teaching parents how to empathize and develop sympathy and compassion in their children.
Oh, so nice. Beautiful. Just one
Thank you.
second. So Sonia Bhandari says, "Sir, you're amazing." So
Thank you, ma'am.
Sonia is actually the one who's given me a reference. We had interviewed her and her daughter Shivali, and I think
Yes.
she's one of your success stories because Sonia had such kind words to say about you, and she's like, "You must speak to Dr. Mihir. He is such a generous person. He is so good. He is so good with the children and everything." So thank you, Sonia, and Manisha. Hi,
Thank you
and
very
let
much,
me tell.
ma'am. And in fact, Deepshika, in fact, she is one of the wonderful parents I, have come across. So positive, so hardworking, and I believe अच्छे लोगों को अच्छे लोग ही मिलते हैं.
Absolutely, so well said. And I just want to tell all the viewers that we will be taking questions towards the end. So if you have any questions, keep putting them in the comments below. So we will be able to talk about it. Hi, Pooja. Okay, so Doctor, tell us once, and we've talked about your two books. So give us a little bit about your, your pages, your Instagram page and your Facebook page, tips and quotes about parenting. Like, when did you
Hmm.
start that? I have gone through your quotes and I've also shared them on our story, and I think they're so good. Like, एक लाइन में आपने जैसे such a hard hitting instruction के साथ, मतलब everything, like, that you put everything over there, so it's really nice. Tell us, how did you come up
Thank
with
you.
this?
Thank you. I think so. So it was a happenstance, I would say. Nothing specific. One afternoon, I was just lying on the bed, and I just happened to share with my wife about that. I feel like writing something because there are many thoughts going in my mind, and she told me, "Chalo, ek aapka page start karte."
Okay.
And so it was her idea where so she said, let's make it very catchy. And how could that be catchy कि आपका कुछ special रखते हैं जहाँ पे आपके photo would be there throughout और quotes बदलते रहेंगे.
Right.
So that was her idea to begin. In fact, she handles all my what do you say, the social media account,
Yeah.
because I'm very bad at it. So so it was never like and at that time my daughter was very small. I think this was 3-4 years back, and whatever happened with her in the parenting process, whenever she used to go to school, I used to give her bath, anything that used to happen, I used to write it down, that what have I learned as a parent.
Wow.
So before I preach anyone, I make it a point to practice that particular thing most of the times. Definitely, it's not all the times, but most of the times. And
Right.
therefore, it has helped me to grow as a parent. So I thought that चलो मैं इसमें से कुछ सीख रहा हूँ, then why not to also help other parents? And trust
Right.
me, this page gave me so much of success.
Right.
So, I mean, my quotes get circulated. Somebody calling me from Germany, somebody calling me from a small hometown and a place in Siliguri. Doctor, ये बहुत अच्छा है, मुझे आपका ये बहुत अच्छा लगा. I am following it. I think this gives us satisfaction without any consultation, without any fees. I have made a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just love that one where you say, the one before you hand your child a pen, let him play with mud. So I
Yes,
think that is so, so important.
important. Yes.
Beautiful. So Poonam Chandrana says he's an ocean of knowledge, what to ask and what not to ask.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. So we've talked about all the stuff that you're doing now. Let's go a little back. Give us a little backstory about your life. How did you get to this place and why are you doing what you're doing?
So again, my career was a happenstance, nothing planned. It was
Okay.
just a mere coincidence. So let me be very honest today. I've never ever told about myself on a public platform.
Okay.
But I was very bad at maths. My father had my I would say my father is a best psychologist. He knew it that ये लड़का कुछ नहीं करने वाला है when it comes to numbers, right?
Same
So
here. Same pinch.
so I think then humanities was one of the fields that it was a forced choice. And in 1995, when the papers were leaked, SSC papers were leaked. Even मेरे हाथ में maths का paper आ गया, but then too I just scored passing marks. So you could imagine
Okay.
how pathetic I would be. So 11th and 12th was good because I was good at languages, so I could write, and I could manage it quite well.
Okay.
And I had taken up sociology, not
Okay.
psychology.
Okay.
So then I was one fine day I was watching TV, and my sister called me up because she had gone to fill up my form for my first year BA, and she said,
Okay.
"Mihir, मैं क्या select करूँ? Do I select psychology or sociology?" And I said, "तेरे मन में जो है वो कर ले." I never thought that this statement of mine is actually going to be my bread and butter,
Wow.
right? And 13th, so I was very blessed to have two good teachers in my life.
Right.
Sudha Petnekar and Dr. Ramachari. They are my teachers and my everything, I would say. So Sudha ma'am was so well in teaching. So I thought of that, now 2 saal ke baad to I have to earn. My daddy is going to sit on my head. So then what do I do? So then psychology interested me, and that's how I got into the field. And in fact, I was what do you say, a black sheep in my family. So
Okay.
it was very difficult for me that, I have to prove something because my comparison was always with my sister who is so brilliant.
Okay.
So my parents were always worried that, ये क्या करेगा, कुछ करेगा भी क्या नहीं.
Oh.
And then in my master's, so I had to take a break because of some reservation policy. I couldn't get through the admission because there were only 80 seats throughout Mumbai.
Okay. Okay.
So then 1 year I worked in one of the counseling centers where my mentor, Dr. Bhavna Kerkar, she helped me to identify my strengths. She also kept on telling me that, आगे क्या सोचा है तूने, आगे क्या सोचा है. So she kept
Right.
on guiding me. So I'm very thankful to her. And she used to give me children to teach because she had a center for children with special needs.
Okay.
So I used to sit with a stick and, very strict teacher. I used to teach children. Those children made me realize that, sir, you are a good teacher also. Trust me,
Wow.
I never knew that I can be a good teacher also because I was always thinking that, I want to do something in psychology, which I
Okay.
completed my master's. I started counseling, but thereon I thought of taking up special education, which was guided by my mentor.
Okay.
And then I started learning special education. And after that, I used to work in small hospitals.
Okay.
But before that, I think very few of them know this, that I worked for a call center because I wanted to
Okay.
do my master's abroad.
Okay.
And one master's was already completed, but I wanted to do something abroad. So then
Okay.
I was collecting money and I worked for a call center for 2 years. And then at this point in time, I got married.
Okay.
Yes. So I think that was the turning point in my life because my
Okay.
partner, Pooja, so she is, even currently, she is the backbone. And so whatever I feel that I am is all the woman power in my family, my mother, my sister, my wife, my niece, and my daughter.
Wow.
So that's how the my life changed, and she kept on pushing me. क्या call
Okay.
center में रखा है? Why don't you start your independent practice? So from a very small place, and by the grace of God, today we are in a big bungalow where I'm just not catering to one children, two children, three children. I'm catering to around 100 children every day.
Wow.
So I
Beautiful.
think, yeah, so I think it's my parents' blessings, my wife, immense support, and definitely, my passion towards the field.
Amazing. That's such a heartwarming story. And Mona Jain says,
I feel proud to say this because uh, the process was so enriching. I learned so many things. At the same time, it also made me realize that, I have to keep my feet on the ground and then fly.
wow, absolutely. So Mona Jain says, Mihir sir has a great contribution on the development of my sir Anmol Jain. That's so cool.
Anmol
So,
is my darling, one of the darlings because Anmol was this small. I would say around 5 years or 6 years he had come to me. I just met him yesterday, and
okay.
Anmol is a young boy. I think 16, 17, 18 years old, and I feel that the the kind of skills the child has, the kind of dedication the parents have, they blindly followed me. In fact, I started my career with Anmol.
Wow.
And when I see that, Anmol is such a bright child, he would, whatever I would teach, his mother would just take a recap and then, he's all set.
Wow.
So, an immense satisfaction I used to get when I used to teach Anmol. So, yes, Anmol, thank you. I love you.
Anmol, hi. Okay, so tell us about Urja. Like you said, your wife Pooja, urged you to start Urja. So Urja is a remedial center. So tell us all about Urja and what it's all about. What do you guys do at Urja?
So first it was Mihir Parekh Counseling and Remedial Center.
Okay.
Then we were thinking of kya naam rakhe, and then we thought that it is an energy exchange. So energy exchange, then why not Urja? And so Urja is made up of four letters URJA. So
Okay.
definitely UR is me and my wife Pooja. But I would
Ah,
say that JA is my other two backbones, Poonam Chandarana, who just spoke, and
right.
so she has been a very strong support of Urja, and my another school coordinator, Trupti Sanghvi. So I think Urja is not a place to teach. It's basically an emotion for me because it's my
Wow.
baby. And I think Urja, was not complete without Pooja, Poonam, and Trupti. Trust me. I
Wow.
mean, I really feel that because uh, the entire support, thought process, dedication, planning was all theirs. I was the one who was only guiding them. Mujhe aisa chahiye, and they knew that what I want, and they would just
Okay.
do it that way.
Amazing.
So Urja began with a remedial center where we used to teach children with special needs. लेकिन धीरे 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 so my wife is a, special educator and an
Okay.
interior designer both. So
Okay.
in fact, she joined the field after my marriage, and touchwood, by the grace of God, she's doing wonderful. So
Wow.
together we were teaching three kids in the beginning. I think that was in 2008.
Okay.
2008, yes.
Hmm.
So there were these so parents बच्चे को लेने आते थे, and they used to say that हमारे बच्चे के अंदर एक घंटे में आप इतना चेंज लाते हो, तो आप उसको थोड़ा लंबा टाइम, why don't you open a school?
Okay.
And so मेरे लिए उस टाइम पर मुश्किल था because my wife was pregnant and we had multiple things, we were just growing. So
Right.
सोचा कि क्या करें, I was attached to so many other schools there.
Right.
तो फिर हम लोगों ने सोचा चलो why not to try, and we started with 3 children.
Okay.
So we Deepshika, you will actually be surprised. इतने, I mean, in my span of 13 years, it was I think the last to last year, हम लोगों ने हमारा brochure कराया,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
It was never that we had to promote through brochures. It was always through word of mouth. Parents ने,
Oh.
by the grace of God, they were, I feel so blessed, they were so good कि उन्होंने word of mouth के तो हर जगह अच्छा बोला, and धीरे धीरे धीरे, just in a span of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, the numbers just grew. Or that's how Urja Special School started.
Okay.
So Urja
Okay.
Special School, may we have children apart from visual impairment and hearing impairment, we have children
Okay.
with all the other disabilities. My
Okay.
wife heads it as a principal of the school,
Okay.
and uh, so in the entire 3 hours of school, so the school begins at 9:30 and we close down by 12:31. So
Okay.
we have different activities where dance, yoga, vocational, which is cooking, non gas cooking, uh, then sports, then art and craft. These are all
Okay.
the activities, extracurricular activities that we do. And
Okay.
the age range of children would be from 3 years to 32 years age adults,
Wow.
right? So we would actually start with building the fine motor skills of the children, social development of children. So
Okay.
where then gradually we start with teaching them ABCD, some important general knowledge concepts. So we
Okay.
have divided children in different sections, and
Okay.
when we feel that the child is capable of passing even studying the government exams or taking the government exams, so we have the
Right.
National Indian Open School where children get trained from A level, which is third standard, to 12th to 10th standard.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
so we are so happy that this time we have a very big batch जहाँ पर special kids जो 10th standard में है, they will be passing out. Imagine the kind of joy the parents will have after a year.
Wow.
And at the same time, ये कुछ बच्चे जो बड़े हो गए हैं 16, 17 years, but who are not they are not that capable of handling academics, but they are good in other ways. So we teach them all the integration skills which are needed in the society, to integrate them. So vocational skills like time, money, clock, calendar, banking, shopping, money exchange, profit discount, loss, which are so much important in our day-to-day life. Even we take children to railway stations जहाँ पर उनको indicator read करना है. We teach them 24 hours clock, how to fill up a check, how to do money transactions, how छुट्टा रिक्शा वाले को कैसा देना है, all those things.
Wow.
And we have also started an initiative, me and mom, under Urja.
Okay.
So again, बच्चे कितने टाइम तक थेरेपीज लेंगे, कब तक हमारे पास आएंगे? So we started involving parents in the initiative, जहाँ पर soap making, then all the decoration stuff, then bangles, bags, all these things are taught to them. So the mother and the child would do it together. Then somebody would sponsor a stall, and then we would go there. Children would actually come in contact with real customers. Okay, and then they would sell things. So which means that the parent eventually feels that, मेरा बच्चा जो है वो धीरे धीरे society में he is integrating.
Wow.
And simultaneously वो कहीं ना कहीं sensitize हम society को कर रहे हैं. So that's what I'm saying. Urja is not an entity. It's a feeling, and it's very difficult to put up.
Amazing, amazing. When you were talking about all this, I'm thinking, why don't we even teach neurotypical children all these things? Because they don't get to learn all of this till, I think, they start traveling to college, and they actually start banking and all that. I mean, this is amazing what you're teaching. This is beautiful. Rupali Singh says, thank you, Dr. Mihir. Virtually, you have guided my son. Bless you with lots of blessings. That is so sweet.
So much. Thank you.
And Sanjay Omkar says, amazing, sir. Poonam Chandrana says, Urja is our baby. Riddhi Raj says, nice, sir. Very good. So, we've understood about what Urja does. Tell us something, doctor. Like, how early does a parent with a special child knows that that they have a special child?
I think in the developmental process, when the parent starts visiting the doctor for their vaccinations or just a routine checkup to the doctor, it is somewhere the doctor who keeps on checking the child physically and keeps on plotting it in the file. So there, the parent has to be alert that if my child's milestones are late, not necessary that every child grows at the same pace. But in case if the milestone starts going late by more than 6 months, right? Utna, baitna, chalna, bolna, daat aana. If this starts getting late by 6 months, and if there is no other problem in the child, so then the parent actually should start realizing something is wrong and I need to go and take help. Zaruri nahi hai that this. So I think earlier as 18 months. Could be the time where a parent can immediately identify that there is something wrong, because walking, talking, सब कुछ ये age पे तो आ जाता है.
Correct. Okay, so as early as, so basically the pediatrician kind of helps with that, and then they probably get in touch with you. So you said
to that extent, Deepshika, to that extent, for example, today's generation is very fast. Kids like hum log neck holding 3 months pe karte the, now the neck holding has come so fast. So children start using only one side of the body and not the other side of the body much. So parents feel that acha ye bhi jaldi ho gaya, he is righty and not lefty. The handedness has come. So if the handedness is also too early, that is also a problem, because which indicates that one side of the body is active and the other side of the body is weak, and therefore the active part has taken over. So that's also one of the red flag that the parents has to be vigilant about.
Okay. All right. So this is as early as, so you have children you as early. So once the parent knows that there is like a special need or whatever, then they get in touch with you and you start working on these children as early as 18 months or a little later.
No. So in fact, I would say that, kids come to us very late. So first, the parent would see their pediatrician. Pediatrician ने बोला, so that pediatrician वो नहीं जाना है उसके पास. Okay, because parent is in denial.
Okay.
We understand, right?
Right.
फिर धीरे धीरे they go to some other doctor. The other doctor कहीं और भेजेगा. So at one point, whatever milestone is getting delayed, पेरेंट वहां पर काम करना शुरू करते हैं. धीरे धीरे करके through different channels they come to us. I think by the time the child is around in senior KG, first standard or second standard, this is the age जहां पर मैं maximum बच्चे को देखता हूँ. क्योंकि senior KG to first standard is again one big leap.
Right.
And if the kids are not coping up there, then the parents see us. So छोटा एज ग्रुप बहुत कम आता है. प्राइमरी एज ग्रुप एंड सेकेंडरी एज ग्रुप हमारे पास ज्यादा आता है. Because pre-primary age group में parents are still trying. The doctors are also still convincing the parent, नहीं अभी रुको. Though the IQ is less, but at least हम second standard तक तो wait करेंगे ही करेंगे. After that, we will think of going to a special school or a special educator or any other testing to be done.
Okay. That is so sad, I mean, I think, if that is like, if this could be, like a mainstream thing, like, inclusivity should be practiced here, so that, it doesn't matter, like, if you're not neurotypical, it's okay, but you will at least get the right guidance with the under the special educator, which is this. So, I just remembered that we were speaking to a parent, Dr. Rajiv, who has a child with autism, and he said that, that he went to different pediatricians, that this is like long back, like say about 18-20 years back, and they actually said, doesn't matter, I mean, autism was probably not so known, and they actually said theek ho jayega, apne aap chala jayega. So which is, okay, now at least there's more awareness about these things, so which is good. So tell us, doctor, what are the challenges of running a school like Urja?
So I would answer this. What are the challenges to be in the field? One.
Okay.
So one would be, so the kind of challenges I faced was, he looks so small. What would he do?
Okay. Yeah.
Number two, he's not a parent. What will he tell us? When I was not even a father. He's not married. What will he do? Okay, how much would he empathize? Right? So, ये personal level पर challenges रही. So till the time they don't talk to me, that you are not able to convince, तब तक उनके लिए, they consider you not that expert. Running a school is a different ball game altogether, where you should have a good staff. So the biggest challenge is staff, right? So we interview so many candidates, who are special educators, who are remedial educators, but everything is, the knowledge is just in books. There are very few educators I have come across who are also able to practically apply things. I feel the knowledge is bookish, the common sense is less.
Yeah.
So you need people who are sensitive, who can actually apply whatever you've learned in a very practical way, not what the book says, but what the child wants. अगर बच्चे को क्या चाहिए, if the educator understands that, तो सब पढ़ाई side पे. I believe that strongly, and I believe my kids, I know what my child wants at this juncture, and that's how I frame their goals. So that's one number. So staff. Number two, safety and security of these children. Because the smallest thing, like, अगर बच्चे को किसी दूसरे special kid ने धक्का मार दिया, अगर van में कुछ हो गया. So there are so many things. So finally, myself and my wife and my two coordinators, they are actually free after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That harsh. Today the day was good. There was no phone call. Small things matters. Then to a place where, we have a big event of Navaratri or any other celebration, and all the kids just running around because they are so happy, excited. Parents are happy and excited. Annual day, if you talk about backstage, whatever happens, we only know. Handling so many kids is really a challenge. But to put up in front of the audience is a different challenge altogether. So I think every day there is a new challenge that comes up, and we have to face that challenge with a smile on the face. So I will share one example, one instance. some years back हमारा annual day था, and one girl who went to change her clothes, usko masti सूझी and she locked herself in the bathroom. Right?
Oh my God.
Imagine. So the teacher was waiting out because the girl was quite big. So teacher didn't enter the bathroom, and the teacher was waiting out. Why this girl is not coming out? I was giving stage on the speech, so she was, वो मुझे इशारा कर रही थी that sir, something is wrong. You finish it off fast. And then Pooja ma'am was also there, and she told me that you come fast. And then when we went, we were scared that why the girl is not opening the door. And then our sports sir was there, so मैंने sir को बोला sir दरवाजा तोड़ दो. एंड उन्होंने एक्चुअली पिक्चर में जैसे दरवाजा तोड़ दिया वैसे पैर से दरवाजा तोड़ दिया. एंड द गर्ल वाज क्वाइटली सिटिंग ऑन द पॉटी पॉड एंड शी वाज स्माइलिंग.
Oh my God.
सो हमारे ब्लड प्रेशर हाई हो गए कि क्या हो गया, एंड शी वाज स्माइलिंग. ऑलराइट. सो ये छोटी छोटी चीजें ऐसी आती है एंड दैट एक्चुअली स्केयर्स अस, बट आई बिलीव ये जॉय भी अलग है.
Correct. Absolutely, absolutely. Right now when I'm listening to you and talking to you, and then also about your story that, you said, first thing you said, I'm not good with maths. I mean, somewhere you had this key, okay, I'm not good with maths, but I was good with this. So I have been a counselor with Brain Secrets. We basically are a talent identification company where where we use dermatoglyphics with this, and where we feel that basically every person is a genius, and every person is unique, and every person has a different life path, and they have this. So in fact, Kaushal Pandya, our founder, is here, and he's like, you've done really great work with Brain Secrets, and you should be collaborate with Dr. Mihir Parekh with his school, where we could probably find out what is good with the children. So that is a great opportunity. Okay,
Yes.
Mr. Puneet Sablok says Mihir is a person full of solutions. He is a healer of parents. I am gaining knowledge from him since 13 years. Pooja is a darling. She too is a person full of life and a great helper. Remember, guys, teacher is God. Love you guys.
Thank you so much, Puneet.
And Vasudha Mehta says, really missing Urja school. And
Yes.
she's probably finished her time with Urja. And Manisha Sharma
No,
says,
in fact, it's because of the pandemic that the school is closed and children are all online. So we are actually missing the Urja physical fun.
oh, that is so good. And Manisha Sharma says, I personally really enjoyed working with Sir. So,
Yes.
so
Thank
yes.
you, Manisha.
Yes. So absolutely, Kaushal, we must, once the pandemic is over, Mr. Mihir, we must meet, and we must try and look for collab. We should practice inclusivity, and for people who are also, like you said, not good with maths, but like are geniuses. I mean, you can actually find the love pouring on this thread, the way they are talking about you. I'm sure you would have made a very bad accountant, but here you are, healing people. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Pooja sends you 2 kisses. So,
She's
okay.
right here.
Yeah. Hi, Pooja. Okay. So, okay, you have talked about the challenges, and they are like crazy. Tell us about, if you think about Urja, and you think about, like you just talked about Anmol. Do you think? Can you tell us any other success stories about your students, like somebody who's been with you and has really kind of made it big, or done a path breaking work?
So I would share a couple of them. So one, I would definitely like to mention about Anmol, which I did. That Anmol has been such a darling, so intelligent child. Definitely, all the parent support was extremely helpful at that point in time. Second, Shivali. So I am sure you are aware that Shivali has her own venture, Shivali Tweets.
Sweets.
Shivali Sweets. Yes, yes.
Yes.
I always make this mistake. So look at the dedication of this child, that since she makes cakes and all, So for that, the mother doesn't want her to be dependent on her. So
Right.
therefore, she attends this sessions of mine where we
Mm.
teach her about कितना kg chocolate लगेगा, कितना grams of cream उसमें लगेगा. Okay,
Right.
then you are going to sell this cake in a shop. So what is the
Mm.
cost price, making price, and what is the selling price? तो शिवाली को
Right.
प्रॉफिट होगा कि लॉस होगा. And Deepshika, I'm so proud. The girl is able to do all this. Real, real. The girl is able to do all this. वो डिस्काउंट भी आपको बोलेगी कि इतना डिस्काउंट होगा, दो वॉट एवर शी स्पीक्स, ओके, वो हम इतना अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर पाएंगे, बट दैट वुड बी करेक्ट 100%. I think
Wow.
that is something that gives me a lot of satisfaction. This was regarding kids with Down syndrome.
Okay.
I would also like to share some of my children who were children with learning disability. So there was no other concern apart from this learning disability. So there were three children I still remember. One was Rucha, Palak, Jigar. So they all came to me when they were in third standard, right? And I think now they are in their FY or SY. So 13th in 13th and 14th. Now all
Wow.
adults.
Okay.
So these children struggled with maths, struggled with language. So Pooja and myself, we both used to sit and we used to teach them. They used to stay overnight in our house. She used to make coffee, और फिर हम लोग रात को बैठ के maths करते थे.
Wow.
Lot of motivation was needed. Today, Rucha is about to finish her fashion designing from
Wow.
NIFT.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Then, if I have to talk about Jigar, Jigar has opened his sports academy. Imagine.
Wow.
And Palak, I think she is doing her fashion fine arts from JJ School of Arts.
Amazing,
Yes.
amazing. I wanted to go to NIFT and I didn't get through to get through this.
Oh.
So, like how you say that you don't like maths, I didn't get through NIFT, and I think I'm very creative.
One of my other child, he is an actor today. I don't know which serials he comes because I don't watch TV much. But he was an audio learner.
Okay.
Okay, and we used to teach him through a lot of tape recorders. He used to listen, travel. उस करते करते he used to listen and sir आपका मैं आपकी आवाज सुनते सुनते आ रहा हूँ. And today he is an actor. So I feel so good that children are doing so well. Then other two children of mine, one is in Canada. I don't know what is he doing. The other is actually an engineer.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
really feel good and proud about my children.
Amazing. These are some absolute crazy success stories. This is wonderful. This is like so much more power to you. I think you must feel
Thank you. Thank you.
so proud, like every single day you must feel so proud.
It
Amazing.
brings tears to my eyes, and I tell Pooja, "Arey Pooja, ये तो इतनी छोटी थी, and look at her today."
Lovely, lovely. So this is like a true example of inclusivity. That absolutely doesn't matter whether the child is neurotypical or with special needs. You are seeing children enter all kinds of fields, which is so good.
Yes.
Okay, so Dr. Mihir, tell us about also what is the impact that Urja is creating. I already heard it from you, but what is the impact that Urja is creating today, and what are the future plans for Urja?
Honestly, future plans. We got collaborated with good schools across India, but unfortunately, because of the pandemic, things just got, shattered away.
Mhm.
So at the moment, I do not foresee anything. Okay, sounds very pessimistic, but I do not foresee anything because of the current situation. But yes, I think Urja has long way to go, and
Mhm.
we would definitely, be one of the institutions who would be catering to children with all kinds of problems and giving them employment. I believe employment is one area which institutions needs to take up.
Okay.
Which we strongly want to take it up, that children who have uh, either done any skill based course or who've just completed 10th standard, we would want to be that powerful institute who can recommend children to different organizations, different institutes, and then can give employment.
Right. Sonia again says, Sir has given a new life to Shivali. Absolutely.
So sweet.
Yeah. So this is amazing. The plans that you have for Urja. So tell us, Dr. Mihir, that if you have to give one message to all the young parents that probably are blessed with a child with special needs, what would that one message be?
I just spoke this on one of the platforms very recently, and I reiterate this that acceptance is the first thing that our parents have to get into their soul. Because I have come across, see, I will tell you, when I was teaching Anmol, I also had parents who used to go to normal schools, who used to
Hmm.
send their children to normal schools, and I could see
Mm-hmm.
the difference. Mother was so happy, okay, because the mother had accepted that my child has some or the other difficulty. I'm sending him to a special school. The child has
Correct.
some limitations, but I would do my best to raise my child. So she
Right.
was a relaxed mother. The expectations were limited as
Correct.
opposed to a parent who were sending their children to normal school. अरे करो करो, वो बोर्ड पर से कॉपी नहीं कर रहा है, टीचर ने ये कंप्लेन बोला, तो उनका पूरा रोना उसी में रह गया, and they wasted
Oh.
a lot of time. Sorry if I might sound rude, right? But this is a message to all the young parents: don't waste time after second standard, or even if the disability is more, right? Mild and borderline children can cope up better, but moderate retardation children will have difficulties. So the earlier you accept, you have more options to explore. You also have an option of the open school board, where at least you can educate your child till grade 10th and 12th. And
Hmm.
if not that, you also have skill based programs,
Right. Right.
राइट. दे हैव दिस एप्रीहेंशन कि हमारा बच्चा स्पेशल स्कूल में जाएगा तो वो गलत बिहेवियर सीखेगा. यस, दैट इज ऑल्सो करेक्ट, वो भी गलत नहीं है. बट स्पेशल स्कूल्स में 4 घंटा, मम्मी पापा के साथ 20 घंटा, राइट. सो
Right.
बिहेवियर मॉडिफिकेशन री टेक्निक से आप बच्चे के बिहेवियर प्रॉब्लम्स को बहुत कंट्रोल कर सकते हो.
Correct.
एंड दिस इज ऑल्सो फॉर द पेरेंट्स जिनके स्पेशल किड्स अभी है और जो बच्चे बड़े हैं. डोंट रन
Right.
बिहाइंड जस्ट गेटिंग दैट 10th स्टैंडर्ड का सर्टिफिकेट. what is important is making your children stand on their feet, educate them in the right way, make them intelligent in the right way. वो अगर मनी एक्सचेंज वो नहीं कर पाता है, या अगर हम बच्चे को देखते हैं हाउ मेनी फिंगर्स यू हैव ऑन योर हैंड, एंड द चाइल्ड देन काउंट्स, अ 15-year-old बॉय काउंट्स, देन आई फील वो 10th स्टैंडर्ड का सर्टिफिकेट वो मतलब का नहीं है.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
they should start getting into vocational programs where they try to get more and more integrated in the society. At the same time, they should seek out more and more options, join different support groups. There are so many available these days. Okay,
Hmm.
not run behind one role model. उसका लड़का केक बनाता है या उसका लड़का होटल में कराता है, I also want my child that way. No, every child is different. You identify what your child is good at, and also accept the child's limitations. They
Right.
beat, they push, they do what not, unfortunately. But the child says, "मुझे नहीं करना है, जाओ."
How sad.
Yes, that's really sad. So if acceptance comes early, the hope to look forward definitely increases.
Right. Right. So well said. Yes. So I think the expectation management for parents is very, very important.
Very important.
Right. So, I just mentioned Dr. Rajiv, who was talking about his daughter who is with autism. They, with a group of parents in Kerala, are starting Nischinta, which is like all the parents are so scared. Like you just said, the parents are
So
so
nice
scared.
name.
Yeah,
So nice name.
Nischinta, yeah.
Nishchin.
या सो बिकॉज द पेरेंट्स को एक ही डर लगता है कि हमारे बाद क्या, हम चले गए तो क्या. So
Yeah,
all the
very.
parents are coming together and they're starting a Nischinta, which will be a community, and all the elder children will, mentor the little ones. Which so it'll be like a cycle, and they will, make their own things. They will have classes within that and something. So I think now
So
this is
nice.
down. So this is down in Kerala. So I think you should probably get all the parents to start something in Bombay. So that
Mumbai.
is
And also,
that is
I am of the opinion that the earlier the parents psycho-educate themselves about the condition, about the limitations, and about the strategies to handle their child, it
Mhm.
really helps. Because kitne time tak they will go to a therapist to a doctor.
Right.
If they know management well, if they just get guidance and if they are able to manage well, I believe they can save a lot on their money, time, and जितना एक parent best तरीके से उसको follow up दे पाएगा, no other therapist would do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. One more comment. Mihir, so this is Shami Mehta. Mihir sir is the best person for all problem of kids, and you will always get good suggestions and ways. That is so sweet.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
And Vasudha Mehta says all the best planning. We are always with Urja team.
My parents' support have been really, really great and genuine.
Amazing, amazing. So before we end, I just want to tell everybody from those who are joining from Tips and Coach, Dr. Mihir Parekh's Tips and Coach, and from the Urja groups, please follow the Paradigm Shift page. We bring you amazing stories like Dr. Mihir, people who don't have to do things that they're doing, but they are inspiring, they're motivating, they're tirelessly working towards the good of the society, so which is so beautiful. And everybody that is joining us from the Paradigm Shift, please spread the word about Urja, that we will be putting the address and contact details and everything and the website and everything in this video. So if you know about a child that requires Dr. Mihir's help, I think that'll be really great if you can direct these people to Urja, and it'll be amazing. And before we end, Doctor, why don't you give one last message for our viewers? If there are any questions, we'll address it. I mean, everybody is like, we what to ask Dr. Mihir. So anyway, you can start with one message for our viewers.
So one message would be about the IQ. Yes, I think as a psychologist, I have to say this: IQ is not what your child read, writes, but so don't be pushy. Okay, let your child enjoy his life, love his life the most. Okay, don't make or create problems for the child just because he is not that academic cutout. Only thing that you have to teach your child as a parent is life skills. So if you are able to touch up this area of life skills, you will actually never ever have that regret that, I have not done justice to my child, because life skills is something that will help your child to live his life after you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One more message. Prafula Shetty says, happy that now Abhinav is under Mihir sir's guidance.
Oh,
Prafula Shetty. And Shami Mehta says, waiting for the book launch. All the best. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we will be putting Dr. Mihir, whenever you get your Amazon, Flipkart, and your whenever the book is launched, please let us know. We will be putting it down in this video. And in the meanwhile, please give us the live tweets Amazon link so we can put that down. And I am absolutely looking forward to why, because I think that will answer such a lot of questions. And I am probably going to be a grandmother in the next 5-6 years, so I'm going to so I'm going to have to know all the answers with with the Gen Z. I don't know what that generation will be called. So probably we'll go back to Gen A.
So Deepshikha, before we stop, one thing that just struck my mind. I was actually putting one ritual in my daughter's routine to to give water to sun god. Right? And then she asked me, why do we do that? Right? So I had no answer. Kyun karna hai wo nahi pata hai. So then when I started writing, I researched, and then there was this very nice story. I'll just take 2 minutes.
Yes, absolutely.
There was a fight between sun god and the demons.
Okay.
So the fight was very fierce, and the sun was all in power, and he was fighting with the demons. धीरे 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 शाम होने लगी, and the sun started losing its power. Right? So the demons came in power because वो लोग रात को power में आते हैं supposedly. उसके बाद the entire night they fought, and the sun was just about to lose all the power, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and the sun again started rising. Now, when the sun was rising, the demons kept on pushing and kept on saying that, no, you will not rise now. And then the Sapta Rishis, which is the 7 Rishis, hum jo apne bachcho ko kehte hai, they started chanting Gayatri Mantra.
Okay.
Right? Om Bhurbhuva Swaha, they started chanting. And what they did, so there was Ganga River. So they took the Ganga River in their vessel, and then they started pouring the water in front of Sun God. That, oh Sun God, please come out. We are wanting, we need your energy and light. And therefore, you become more healthy. The sun rays and the water, when it comes in contact, it breaks, the drop breaks into 7 colors, which is very good for your eyes. And therefore, you should put water to sun god. And therefore, the sun god came into power, or fir wo demons haar gaye. So when so when I told her this, that was in her mind. So now whenever she gets up early, this is the first thing that she would do.
Wow, that is so
small stories say you can reach children, I feel.
Right. I think adults also, I think stories everybody loves, because I think it just brings home the point so beautifully. So I didn't know this story. I knew about the eye thing, that when you pour it, that the sun rays should pass through the water and into your eyes. But the backstory I didn't know, so which is so good. I am like complete sucker for stories, so which is so good. So I'm sure why is, like, let me tell you guys, Dr. Mihir keeps saying it's for children, but I think all the adults should also read it, because it's going to clear out so many things for us too. We can go back to our roots and start doing these rituals, which is so good, with a scientific mind, which is so good. Okay, Dhara Nagadia says, wonderful story, sir. Thanks a ton. Amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we're almost close to an hour. It has been a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. Mihir. And thank you so much, Pooja, for pushing Dr. Mihir to, do this. And, he's out there and he's helping. You are out there and helping so many children that are special, which is so good. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye, ma'am.